The secluded Jornada del Muerto, meaning the Journey of Death, would be the site where the Manhattan Project would test the most unprecedented man-made event that has ever happened in human history. When the bomb blast happened right here at the Trinity Site at Tower, it reverberated throughout the mountains here, echoed throughout the valley here, and within 120 miles and beyond, there were windows broken. A lot of people didn't have any idea what happened here. The atomic bomb, which continued to be a secret, arose curiosity at the time because of the intensity of the blast.
The Army had to say something. So they were told that there was an accident at a munitions dump and that it exploded, and that was the blast that everybody saw. But it was actually visible even further away than that. It was visible all the way up in Los Alamos, up to about 180 miles.
Shock waves do crazy things depending on the terrain, the cloud cover and whatnot. This shock wave did go northwest, and the shock wave struck Gallup pretty good, woke people up enough, like a loud clap of thunder.
One of the neighbors had a little weather station, and she went out to read the temperature and check it at 5:30 in the morning on the 16th, and she saw light from the blast and she heard it.
On July 12, 1945, 2 hemispheres of the plutonium was brought here to George McDonald's ranch, 2 miles from ground zero.
And there was maybe 3 days in total that they were here. This was not any place that they stayed, but they were here because of proximity to the tower where the bomb was detonated and where it was, assembled. So there was the outer shell, the implosion device for the plutonium core. So we have the room, the assembly room, which you've seen probably already.
It would be here in the master bedroom where the assembly of the bomb would take place. This was called the clean room.
If you think of laboratory clean rooms today, they're very strict about washing up, getting cleaned up, putting the suits on and everything. Well, the best they could do was to seal the entrances and the windows up and then keep it wiped down and dusted to keep it as a clean room. Again, it was either that or build a whole new structure, and my understanding is they weren't up for that.
The next day, the entire bomb was raised on a 100-foot tower, and detonators were attached. 3 observation points were established, 5.7 miles from ground zero, with the detonator being controlled from the south bunker.
The explosion, as it starts, vaporized the steel tower. In other words, all that steel turned to gas instantaneously and gets sucked into the fireball, along with a lot of sand. And that becomes eventually a mist of liquid rock and steel. And raindrop physics takes over, and they start to form little droplets, raindrops. And the heavier stuff falls out. Some of it solidifies before it hits the ground, and we've got beads of Trinitite. And the rest falls as a liquid in pools, and then the heat smooths that over, and we've got liquid Trinitite on the crater floor here.
The big question on your mind, I know, is it safe to be at this location? Is the radiation still lingering around?
Anytime you're around radiation, there's an inherent risk. Anything non-zero is considered an inherent risk, but living in your home, going day to day, you always have radiation around you all the time, and that's kind of what we're demonstrating here. The radiation limits here are between up to 2 to 3 times the background, so you'd have to camp out here for 24 hours a day for about 45 days to reach your public allowable limit of 100 millirem.
I took some measurements of the dirt outside, and the radiation was perfectly normal, the same in San Diego in my house. But as soon as we step into the site, the radiation shoot up about 50 sieverts per hour. And there are some areas over here where we can measure the Trinitite sites, and I've read some Trinity Site pieces are about 350 sieverts. Definitely, yeah, it's totally safe.
Knowing the scientific and historical importance of Trinity, many from around the world and across the country came here, fascinated by the historical first atomic bomb blast.
So I was a fighter pilot that was nuclear capable in the Air Force, so I know quite a bit about nuclear weapons. But this is history, okay? And when you're flying, you don't get to do stuff like this. So this is a real experience to know where it all started.
My uncle was one of the photographers that photographed the bomb going off in Kwajalein in '46. And I have a letter in an envelope that was carried on the plane.
I'm the son of a soldier who was in the Philippines in the 38th Infantry Division, and I've seen our plans for the invasion of Japan. In the 38th Division was assigned a slot on Tokyo Bay. My dad long credited the use of the bomb with his life. He didn't think they would fare too well invading Japan.
I've always been intrigued by nuclear science and the whole history of this and what led up to the creation of this.
And I'm working on a project about the desert. I'm just kind of interested in the ground itself. This is an 8x10 film camera. It's a Can-Ham. It's a pretty historically important place. It's kind of charged both literally and metaphorically.
The White Sands Missile Range only opens the site to the public twice a year, in April and in October. Everyone who came in peace to learn about the past and how this one event changed the world, bringing us in to the atomic age.